Welcome to the Man Cave, everybody. I'm Raphael Aaliyah.
And I am John Jackson. As he said, this is the Man Cave, and we have a special episode for you. It's the usual stuff, baseball. But it's always special because baseball is such a great sport.
Yeah.
Yeah! You can't disagree with that.
I can't argue with him, though I will find time to later on in the show.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
We got a lot going on in baseball, guys. A-Rod, Player of the Week we're going to do later on
Tune
in the
in for
segment
that.
Because we've gotten great responses.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure we did.
Steroids, PEDs, I'll say.
Oh, yeah, big report on that.
But let's go.
Dive right in. A-Rod, injured, 15-day DL. Why? Are you happy?
No.
Of course not. But some know.
Just when he started to do to do well.
But still, he was batting 194. He did have, I believe, 5 home runs?
I think he
RBIs?
batted 6 home runs in, yeah.
I think it was
6.
5. If you want to check that out.
I'll fact check that.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was 5. But anyway, he's been doing subpar, and he's been hogging the DH spot. So you could almost have the argument to maybe you're better without him. Now
I dropped A-Rod, so I actually don't have
yes.
right away.
Exactly, you dropped A-Rod. So
because he was underperforming, obviously.
Yeah.
And now he's injured. That's just the.
Well, the question is, who could fill A-Rod's shoes? He wasn't doing good, but you have no offensive player you could bring. The Yankees.
Headley could play third base, but he's terrible.
Well, no, A-Rod was DH, so.
Oh yeah, he's not even playing third
you
base.
kind of move around the deck chairs at this point.
Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly, you don't care. Actually, Headley's above A-Rod in terms of players, which I'll just put away because that makes me sad. The Yankees have been doing terrible. So while we're on A-Rod, CC Sabathia also just placed on the 15-day DL with a groin injury.
And this year was actually the one year CC was not the worst pitcher. Severino was.
Forget about not being the worst pitcher. You bothered me because he's doing decent. Decent for the Yankees.
Yeah, the 5 ERA.
But he's getting us through games,
5.
and he's giving us a chance until the 6th inning when he blows up. But I feel that's a part of we can't really trust our bullpen coming in because it seems now that every time Betances comes in, you have a home run. So I feel like the entire Yankees team is doing so terrible that CC is really not terrible.
Tanaka's doing well though.
Tanaka's doing okay.
Severino's doing worse. So if you're trying to
Severino's doing terrible. He should be demoted to the which I think is too soon to say. But compared to the Yankees, Tanaka's been doing great. But he's been doing mediocre compared to every other pitcher in the league. So let's not get too crazy here.
But the thing with Severino too, I don't think it's a matter of sending him down because he's hurting the team's chances. I feel you have to send him doim because he has to learn how to pitch again.
Forget about hurting the team. I agree with you 100%. Forget about
you have nobody else.
People who think that him hurting the team chances, that's stupid. Okay, forget about that.
Yeah, because you heard a Yankee fan right here calling CC good, and that's not true.
He's good compared to the team. He
is.
The
Yankee standards.
If you watch the games, he's not. He honestly, other than his runs given up in the 5th or 6th inning, he keeps the Yankees in the game. I feel like if he had run support, he wouldn't be blowing up in the 6th inning because you have guys. Because if you have a lead, you're going to pitch better. I think that even just in your head.
Psychologically speaking.
Psychologically, I feel like you pitch better. But on what he said, to agree with him, Severino, you don't want to ruin him right now. He honestly has the potential to do very, very well. But if you keep him at this level, with a team that's not going to hit around him, he's going to get worse. And you're going to ruin him. So
and he did so well last season in the small sample size that he gave the Yankees. But, the Yankees now, they're 9-17, as Raphael said before, and they're only better at both 30 teams than the Braves and Twins, and that's not a Yankee type of team. They're in last place. They're just, it's all about the Mets right now. We're the World Series favorites. We have everything going on for us.
I'm proud.
17-10.
I think they'll pick it up, but honestly, I think they've dug themselves in too much of a hole to really come back. Do you think they make the playoffs?
No.
Wild card, at least.
No, and I said at the beginning of the season they might, and I actually think they would have, but it's to the point where they don't have a team now.
I feel like they've hit a point where they really need to work hard to battle back, but now with injuries and players just not playing well, I feel like, that chance is gone. I agree with you. As a Yankee fan, sad to say, and I'm not going to overreact to the beginning of the season, but just looking at it realistically, it's very, very slim. So don't go beating up on me because, oh, it's so early. It's really not that early.
They don't have a team that's going to carry them. How can you say it's much better than last year to the point where they're going to, come out of this slump and just keep on fighting, keep on hitting?
They can come out of the slump, but being this far down, what are they, 7 games behind first?
No, I don't even know.
I think it's 7 games behind first. Honestly, that's a hard hole to dig yourself out of as it is. When you have a team that I feel could get you on that streak, but they're not that team that could get you on that streak this year. They just don't have the guys.
You have the Red Sox who have improved, the Orioles who have improved, and the Toronto Blue Jays who are good.
Improving at a rate that the Yankees can't keep up with.
Yeah.
So
it's too many teams.
But let's move on to the other teams in New York. The Mets, let's just touch on it. They're doing great. People were panicking about DeGrom. I'm sure you want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I saw one article. I won't mention who wrote it or what organization wrote it, but it said, is it time to worry about DeGrom? Now, it might have said no in the article, but I didn't even care. Just the fact that you even have to bring that idea up is silly. DeGrom had through I think his first 3 starts, a 1.02 ERA.
He's doing fantastic.
Last night
he is doing fantastic.
Yeah.
He is doing
Last
fantastic.
night, 5 innings, 3 runs, kind of shaky for DeGrom, but still terrific. Don't even panic now. If anybody panicked about Harvey, that's somebody who you could say you could panic about.
Obviously, I would panic about Harvey.
I wouldn't, but
not for anything. Because of what he's saying about himself. He's now showing that he doesn't really trust his own stuff.
He's always been confident.
And that's bad. When you have a pitcher himself saying that's dangerous.
So,
but still, if he's your biggest problem, you're in good shape.
Exactly. He's actually our worst pitcher right now.
Yeah,
everybody's doing better than him.
Fantastic.
But I say don't worry about DeGrom. And you could worry about Harvey, but I would just say don't even worry about Harvey because he'll pick it up.
I feel like himself. I feel like you gotta address it, because if he's having concerns himself, I feel like you have to, as an organization, say, okay, let's sit down with Harvey, let's see what you're doing wrong, sit down with the pitching coach, say, okay, this is how your dynamics have changed, look at some film.
But see,
I feel that's I would react to it, I do that as an organization.
As an organization.
As a fan, no.
As a fan, I'm saying don't worry.
Sit back,
yeah.
If you're worried about anything, the only thing you should be worried about is how your team does against the Nationals, because at this point, those 19 games, and probably less now, have they played the Nationals? Those 19 games that you have against the Nationals are your biggest concerns as Mets fans. Win that, and you're done. Let's move on to
bad news. Terrible news out of Anaheim. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Yeah, they have Mike Trout, but they don't have Garrett Richards and Andrew Heaney now, because both of them are going to need Tommy John. Heaney says, no, I'm going to rehab it, but in my opinion, obviously, don't rehab it. Your team's already doing bad, they're doing poor, and you have one guy getting Tommy John. Don't play around with it. Just get Tommy John now, get it over with, and be competitive, a year or 2 years from now at this point. But it's bad. If you're an Angels fan, you get to see Mike Trout. That's great, but this is debatably your 2 best pitchers. Heaney,
I wouldn't debate it. I'd definitely say that.
Yeah, Heaney had the potential.
You have the arm, which is more concerning to me than Richards, even though he's one of the better arms. The young arm that you have to worry about now is bad.
Yeah,
and I definitely agree with you.
It was a top prospect.
Do the Tommy John now that you're weak.
Yeah.
Does this hurt their chances? I think that's just a given.
I mean, they look like they weren't making the playoffs this year, so that's fine. It depends when they come back next year and everything. But they got to do it now so they can come back in the middle of next year, give or take.
Agreed.
The last story that we have before our segment is, I got an alert the other day. It said that
he's just sitting there.
Yeah, just sitting there minding my own business, and Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, I believe it will be him who will be coming out with a list of players who have used PEDs recently, and it's going to be a lot of players, apparently more than we've already seen. We've seen obviously D. Gordon and a few other players, but this is going to be pretty big now if it's a lot of major big names. We don't know that.
Yeah, that's I think the major's concern.
Yeah.
Who
could it be?
Is the star level of these players, because you've had guys in the past that just go under the radar when it comes into performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, they're surprised.
So if you see, oh my god, I'm so congested. If you see, I'm going to talk louder, that way you can't hear the congestion.
You're ready to talk loud.
If you see, louder.
I know.
If you see these big names getting addressed, does that change how MLB how the commissioner office is going to deal with punishing PEDs now. It's just coming out with this list. Just them saying, you know what? We're not tolerating this anymore.
They've already strictened it, however you want to call it. They made the rules more strict the other few years ago when A-Rod came out and Ryan Braun came out, and then some minor leaguers came out. I think it's too late too. I say they give you 3 chances before they ban you forever from baseball. Only one player's been banned.
Well, listen,
Henry Mejia.
just take it with D. Gordon in general. When you have a guy that doesn't have to worry about getting suspended because he still has money waiting for him when he comes back, he still has a job when he comes back, he's going to be welcomed back with open arms when he comes back. What's his excuse? I mean, what's the excuse for somebody else to say I don't want to do steroids or PEDs in general? You know,
because they might not do it when they come back, but they can get away with it now.
And
the first time.
His stats are increased. He has a pay increase because of his stats. You know, it's terrible. That's bad for me. Like that. That means that MLB doesn't care.
The thing too. Two things I want to mention. One, with D. Gordon, who would have known? This guy is skinnier than you and me. Who would have known that guy's on PEDs?
But yeah, you would not know.
Number 2 that I want to say is there's also another alert alerting the NFL players from taking
an alert. If you
it was bringing attention to the NFL players to not eat meat, I believe, from China and some other countries. Because it may make them fail.
I heard about that story. Okay.
It may make them fail.
I have a question for you.
The reports.
Okay.
Do you think this is same thing in baseball? Do you think some of these players are, eating stuff like this or taking things that they don't know, and it's not warned on the list?
Absolutely not. When you're a major league player, any athlete will tell you watch what you eat, and you watch what you eat too.
But just meat.
Yeah, you don't go to a foreign country and consume meat.
No, I think it's just meat.
When you're
exported or something.
No, I think it was just if you go to the country.
Oh, okay. Well, if it is, that's very unlikely that they're going to go off to China, eat meat, and come back.
Exactly. So to me, that's stupid. Athletes, they know what they're putting in their bodies. Mm-hmm. And to me, if you let that go, what's stopping somebody from
A-Rod or Ryan
putting actual PEDs and then coming back and then saying,
True.
"Oh no, I ate meat. That's what happened." How do you tell the difference?
I'm just thinking too, Henry Mejia, if that's true, he's gonna come out saying he ate a bunch of meat from China,
and he won't even know if he's saying is correct. So how would we? But that's all. I mean. Feel free to weigh in on the comments. I gotta blow my nose, so we're gonna see
segment of the segment.
Player of the week. Good.
We're not ending just yet.
Good call. I'll have to wait to blow my nose. Go ahead with your player of the week.
So my player of the week is coming out of Milwaukee. Yes, that's the Milwaukee Brewers.
The Brewers
first
of Milwaukee.
His name is Chris Carter. And why am I picking Chris Carter? The guy is just going off recently. This is a guy. Used to be on Houston, used to be on the Astros, used to bat maybe, 100 with 30 home runs, which is pretty impressive enough, but, he's not really a good player if he's batting 100. He's batting now, 290, and over the course of the week, from last Friday, I believe, whatever that was, he went 7 for 24, 6 runs, 5 home runs, and 7 RBIs in a week.
Very nice.
I mean, that's almost averaging 1 home run per night.
That's very, very nice.
He had 2 games where he hit 2 home runs, I believe. Or something like that. I know 1 game for sure he had 2 home runs.
That's this week. That's great.
Just 1 week. It's been amazing. I picked him up in fantasy baseball, and he's treated me well so far.
Yes. I'm giving mine really for the entire month. Maybe for the entire year so far, honestly.
Player of the week, though, so he better have had 1 good week.
He did. Jake Arrieta, because we have not mentioned him yet, and I feel like I don't want to mention him until later on in the year when we're talking about Cy Youngs and everything, because I'm sure he'll be in that talk. So I want to get him out of the way right now. I just want to bring him up because if you don't know what he's doing, you're way out of the loop because he's 6-0 with an 84 ERA. How would you a .84 ERA?
And he's a starter, 84. I mean, come on.
A .74 WHIP if you really count WHIP.
Yeah,
his last start was against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. No earned runs.
And that was actually
2 hits.
You could say that was a poor start for Arrieta. That's how good he's been.
Well,
did he get the win?
He did.
Okay, at least he got the win.
his last 3 starts, just guess how many hits in his last 3 starts.
I'd say 4.
4? He actually has 5.
Okay,
5.
Yeah, 5. That's impressive.
No hits, 3 hits, and 2 hits.
If you have 5 hits in 7 innings, that's elite. This guy has 5 hits over the course of how many innings?
Over the course of, that's 9, 6, 23.
It's amazing.
And the only
That's
thing that
amazing.
could concern you is his walks. He walks a good 4 guys a game.
4 guys a game?
No, it's been 4 walks, 2 walks. But still, that's
It seems like he doesn't give up any hits. It's all walks.
Yeah, he's had more walks than hits by far. He has, compared to the 5 hits that we just mentioned, he has 10 walks. He's doubled his amount of walks per hit.
But, you know, in the end, his whip, which is walks, hitters, innings, pitch, walks, hits, innings, pitch,
Still sub 1.
It's still sub 1, which is amazing.
So we'll leave you on that note. Leave us your picks for Player of the Week if you want. Give us your nominees for Player of the Week next week. We'll be back next week with some more